Welcome to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust from the Capital Region's leading experts in real estate and all related fields. From the latest real estate trends to the best mortgage rates, from curb appeal to home warranty, this is the talk show that will help you save and make the most when it comes to buying or selling your most valuable asset. Now, here's your host, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, The Property Shop, John Bevilacqua.
Good morning, Capital Region. John Bevilacqua is not here today. I'm Joe Mulone with The Property Shop. You're listening to the area's best real estate talk show.
Yeah.
Hey. Good morning, John Gabriel.
How you doing, Joe? Good to see you guys here.
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful morning out there. A little chillier than normal.
It's fall.
Yes. We've been spoiled. We've been absolutely spoiled.
Yeah, you're right.
And I got today, we got a great guest on today, Joe Putrock from Icon Home Inspection. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
We're going to be talking about home inspections and why it's so important to have one, and he's got some tips and tricks for us that we're going to talk about today.
Sounds good.
So
a guy that gets his feet dirty and hands.
Yes.
And everything else, right?
Yeah, somebody's got to crawl up in that attic and make sure there's no squirrels living up there, right, Joe?
When it's 180 degrees.
Yeah. Fall inspections aren't so bad, are they?
I look forward to them.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we're going to have a great show today. Really, Joe and I have been talking about what to talk about today, and it's going to be wonderful. Even though we don't have our glorious leader, John Bevilacqua.
Yeah, he's taking the day off.
Yeah, he's got some family stuff to do.
Oh yeah, well, it's Saturday, sure.
Yeah, he's got a young family, and they've got tons of stuff they need to do on a Saturday,
on a holiday weekend.
True. Yeah, and this time of year, the kids are back at school. There's a lot going on.
And you know what?
A
lot of people forgot that it's a holiday weekend.
Yeah,
we have a lot of state workers here, so they all know it was a holiday weekend. But guys like us with small businesses, like, it's a holiday weekend? Really? We got a day off one day?
I know. Real estate 7 days a week.
We're always here. I was going to say, yeah. All right, Joe. So you want to take a break and we'll get into it?
Yes.
So we'll be back right after this.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Hey, it's John Tesh. If you're thinking of selling your home, let me take the stress out of deciding which agent to hire. In the Capital Region, the agent I recommend is John Bevilacqua, founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty at The Property Shop. So for 2 decades, John has helped more than 2,500 families buy and sell the place they call home. That's a solid track record, one that's backed up by dozens of 5-star reviews. Hello. In fact, John is so confident in his marketing system to attract the right buyer for your home that he guarantees to sell it at a price and deadline you agreed to, or he's going to buy it himself for cash. And he provides that guarantee in writing. The agent I trust is John Bevilacqua, and he's the agent you should trust too. His name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. So write this number down. It's 518-957-SOLD. That's easy. 518-957-7653. Or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. I love that one. johnnyhasthebuyers.com, and you'll get your home sold guaranteed.
Hi, I'm Matt Moore from Moore Insurance Services in Clifton Park. Let me take the stress out of quoting your home and auto insurance. We represent over 10 companies, which allows us to find the best coverage at the best prices. We've been helping families in the Capital District save money on their insurance for over 10 years. You can count on a quick turnaround as well as great communication every time. Give me a call at 518-280-1452 or go online to mooreinsurancesvc.com and experience the difference. That's mooreinsurancesvc.com.
Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at SalernoLawNY.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Good morning, everyone. This is Joe Mulone from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and The Property Shop, filling in for John Bevilacqua, our glorious leader at The Property Shop. We are here today with Joe Putrock from Icon Home Inspection. And we are going to talk about home inspections and why they're so important. But I just want to go over why we're here today. We're here to give our audience the most up-to-date real estate market conditions, inside tips, and strategies, and what to do, and more importantly, what not to do to be successful when selling or buying the place you call home. It's the best I do. It's what I do best in selling and buying the place that you call home. I'm not bragging, just applying for the job of selling your home. And this is a call-in show, so I want you to know that we want to hear from you. And the number here is 518-476-5900 here at Magic 100.5. And we're here also with our top guy here at the station, John Gabriel, who's overseeing the show and making sure the monkeys don't take over the asylum here.
That's okay with me.
So let me introduce you our Joe Putrock from Home Inspections. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing well.
How long has Icon Home Inspections been around?
We've been around for about 3 years.
Okay. Okay.
3 years. So we've seen a lot. I don't know. I'm not going to say we've seen it all, but we've seen a lot.
Well, that's great. I mean, I've Joe's.
I can imagine.
I've been working with Joe. Probably pretty close to the time he started, and we've been doing a lot of deals together. Working with a lot of deals, and I always tell people with my buyers that it's not just me; it's my team. Mm-hmm. And we've got people who are great home inspectors. We've got people who are lawyers in real estate that do real estate law. We've got great lenders, and that's what the property shop has to offer is our team. And Joe's on my team, and we've gotten a lot of deals done.
Yeah. I remember you, grabbing the drill to drill the wellhead to see what was going on underneath something.
We found that we were doing a home inspection. Joe was doing a home inspection. I'm standing with the client, and we got our hands in our pockets, just we're trying to stay out of the way while he's doing his job. And the client finds a pipe sticking out of the ground,
in a bush,
in a bush, around the house. We're thinking, okay, what is this?
Yeah.
Didn't know, and we had it. Joe figured out. Said we thought it was a buried oil tank at first, those are always can be scary.
Sure,
that's why you do a home inspection, correct?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what happens? Tell a little bit what happened after.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to figure it out. It looks like it looks like an oil tank cat. We're trying to figure it out. Can't figure it out. So we finally just decided we're going to just drill right through it.
We'll drill a hole in it.
Put a camera down there, and
you're right.
Fresh water just sitting there.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the city.
It was an old well. Huh? It was an old well.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you get lucky.
But it's better to find it out before you buy that house. You want to find out exactly. What that problem is.
I work with home buyers all the time, and they ask, why should I do a home inspection? Mm-hmm. And that is exactly why you should do a home inspection, is because what you find out before you take ownership of that house is critical.
Mm-hmm.
Is critical.
Yep.
You don't want to find out you have a buried oil tank in the backyard and you've already closed the deal, and the owner didn't disclose that was there, or maybe the owner didn't know. It could be 30, 40, 50 years old.
Yep.
And guess what? Remediating an oil tank that's even got a little bit of oil in it is a mess.
Yeah,
and it's expensive. It's expensive.
Yeah. And I always tell people, when you're buying a house, there's really no problem that can't be fixed. You just want to find out who's going to pay for that fix before the house changes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
People don't realize, nobody ever uses the phrase, I'm buying a used house, but you're buying a used house.
Yes.
There can be things wrong with it. If you're going to buy a car, you immediately take it to your mechanic to see if there's anything wrong with it.
Right.
So why wouldn't you do that with a house? You want to make sure.
Well, it comes up all the time is you get those buyers that say, look, the one shingle on the roof is crooked. They think that's an issue in a home inspection. And I'm like, every house is going to have its, like that pimple on your cheek.
Right.
I says, we're not looking for that. We're looking for the broken arm or leg.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's a good analogy,
Yeah, and whether it's a piece of siding that's cracked or missing, those are things that come up in a home inspection, correct?
100%. We have to tell them about that shingle.
Right.
But we also tell them that shingle isn't as big a deal as the 5 bricks that are missing out of the chimney.
Yes.
That are on the roof. There's 2 bricks from the chimney on the roof just sitting there.
Yeah, that's not good.
So that's the big thing that the inspector and the real estate agent bring to them is what's important.
And the foundation is another thing. I mean, people will say, there's a crack here in the side of the cement or on the foundation. It could be something or it could not be.
Yes. Right. Yeah. But what type of foundation is it? Is it a block foundation? Is it a poured wall foundation? You know, there's all in our area. I showed a house last week from 1860.
Oh, we got some old ones.
1860. It was built in 1860. It was a flagstone foundation.
Oh yeah.
It had been parged with concrete over it.
Yep.
So it was pretty well sealed.
Right.
But there was still some water on the floor, and I told the buyer, I said, "Guess what? This house was built in 1860. You're going to have these kind of issues."
They built it with rocks they took from the backyard and brought in here.
Yeah.
It's like,
and I think you have to. One thing I think a home inspection does, it sets a level of expectation. Mm-hmm. You know, even with a new home, if things are, there's going to be things that aren't perfect.
Right.
But with a used home, as Joe said, you have to set that level of expectation of what is acceptable and what's a problem.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And certain things like, Joe's talking about a structural inspection, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But there's other inspections. Could you maybe talk a little bit about that?
So, I always tell people, even if they're not going to use me as a home inspector, that when you hire a home inspector, make sure they're also a mold assessor.
Okay.
Because
that's good.
when I'm at a house, if I see mold, I'm going to do all the work I need to do for a mold assessment so that I don't have to get you back out there. I don't have to get the client back out there. If you see mold, you want to know about it. You want to know how bad it is. You want to know how much it's going to cost to take care of, things like that. There's radon inspections. If you have little children, if you're going to be spending time in your basement, if you want to finish your basement, you want to make sure that there's not a lot of radon down there. Mm-hmm. If you're buying a house in the country that's got, pastures all around it, you want to make sure that the water supply is clean. You want to make sure.
Oh my gosh,
there's nothing in it from farm runoff.
Oh yeah,
that. It's like there are.
I've had more horror stories about water than structural inspections.
Yeah,
no kidding.
People overlook the importance of clean.
Yeah.
It's just an assumption
that the water's okay. Yeah,
that the water that it's gonna run. There's plenty of it.
They think if it's clear, they can drink it.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. I had a buyer. We were looking at a beautiful, nice house out in Schoharie, on Amish country and the rolling hills, absolutely gorgeous. And there was a well. Little did we know they weren't pulling the water from the well; they were pulling it from a pond, quote unquote pond.
Oh, really?
It was standing groundwater.
Ooh!
And they had a baby in the house.
No, so you can't drink that.
And it failed the water. It failed the water tests so bad.
Yeah.
That I disclosed not just to my buyer, but to the seller's attorney because we were under contract.
Yeah.
And I said, this water is so unsafe that it could potentially hurt the children and the people living in the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the client is supposed to disclose the seller, not usually the buyer. But what we found was so bad, and the water they literally were pumping standing water off the ground, putting it through a system. A water filtration system.
Okay, maybe they thought that was good enough.
It wasn't.
Well,
it wasn't.
Yeah, that's what you found out.
You could drink chlorine. It was like pouring chlorine bleach and then thinking that was enough to kill what was in there. It wasn't. It wasn't.
And I always tell people, too, when you have something like that or you have a questionable water supply, test it after you buy the house, too. Test it before you buy the house. And then 6 months, 8 months, a year later, test it again just to make sure.
The flow of water too.
Things change.
Some banks require 4 gallons a minute. Mm-hmm. Some banks require 3 gallons a minute for the length of time.
I didn't know that.
The length of time that it runs.
Yeah.
What is it? 40 minutes, 45 minutes to?
It's easily a half hour, sometimes an hour, depending on what the bank is requiring.
And that doesn't sound like a problem until you're 30 minutes into it, and all of a sudden the well's going. And there's nothing coming out but air. Or it's sucking up sediment off the bottom of the well, and all of a sudden now the water starts looking dirty.
And sometimes it's the pump, sometimes it's the well. It's like you have to figure out what's causing the problem. Because if that well isn't giving you enough water.
Well, as a home inspector, that's not your job to figure out what the problem is. It's that that's like now we have to call a well person in.
Exactly.
And then it's like, oh geez.
Which also leads us to septic. We've had so many issues where the septic system. Not the water going into the house, the water coming out of the house was the issue.
This year,
get into that after the break because it's time.
It's time.
It's time. And we'll be right back with more of the Property Shop in a moment.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Hi, I'm Matt Moore from Moore Insurance Services in Clifton Park. Let me take the stress out of quoting your home and auto insurance. We represent over 10 companies, which allows us to find the best coverage at the best prices. We've been helping families in the Capital District save money on their insurance for over 10 years. You can count on a quick turnaround as well as great communication every time. Give me a call at 518-280-1452 or go online to moreinsurancesvc.com and experience the difference. That's moreinsurancesvc.com.
Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at SalernoLawNY.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Good morning, everyone. This is Joe Mulone from the Property Shop and Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio here at Magic 100.5 with our guest today, Joe Putrock from Icon Home Inspections.
Good morning.
We are discussing inspection issues in a home, whether it's a home that's from the 1930s or 1950s or the 1980s, because you can have problems with all those homes.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to come across. And we were discussing some of the structural issues, mold, radon, water, and the one issue that's been my Achilles heel this year. Things they say come in threes. This year for me, it came in 4. I had 4 deals so far this year that failed septic.
Ooh,
4.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Every time it was like, this can't be happening again. It was like that movie with Bill Murray, Groundhog Day. It was like I was reliving the same deal over and over again, and they were failed septic systems.
Yep.
So, that's not something, Joe doesn't do septic inspection,
Nope.
But tell me a little bit why it's so important.
It's so important because so many people neglect their septic systems. If they have a problem with it, they figure a way around it. They don't fix the problem. Somebody's leach field doesn't work anymore. So instead of fixing the leach field, they just have the septic system pumped.
Yes.
So you go to this house and they say, well, I have the receipts from having the septic system pumped. And it's like, receipts? And you realize they're doing it every 2 months.
Oh,
it's like, well, what's going on here
Yeah.
that you have to do this every 2 months?
Yeah.
There's 2 older people living here. This shouldn't have to be done every 2 months. And then you realize their leach field hasn't worked for 20 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've just figured out, instead of spending the money all at once, they've just spent it over 20 years.
Over time.
They've spent more money than if they had just had it fixed properly.
I recently had one that the seller was an older person, and they were so proud that they only had the septic system pumped twice in 50 years.
Wow.
And guess what?
Okay, well,
you know what? Guess what? It didn't pass.
Tell you, but
it didn't pass inspection.
Yeah.
And it needed a new septic system to the tune of $14,000.
Yeah.
Which actually was a good price. It wasn't that septic systems go. That is not a high price.
Right.
I know there's people out drinking their coffee right now, choking.
Right. Yeah, sure. And so, that's why inspections are so important, is because different people have different thresholds of what they can afford to fix.
Yeah,
exactly.
Some people can say, oh, it needs a new heating system for $30,000. That's not a problem. But then some people, you tell them they need a new hot water heater, and they're like, $1,500. I don't have it.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Everybody's got a different, so that's why it's important to find out what's wrong, because you want to make sure that if something's an issue. And a lot of times in a home inspection, something's not wrong, but we'll tell somebody, this isn't wrong now, but in 3 years, this is going to be an issue.
Right.
So start budgeting now. Start putting a couple bucks away every month.
And as a realtor, we only can negotiate things that are broken, are not functioning well.
Yeah.
If there's a leak in the roof, if the furnace is, let's say, has a a hole in the heat exchanger and the carbon monoxide's getting kicked out.
Yep.
That's something that we can renegotiate. And usually in any contract purchase offer, there's a level of inspection contingency, and now that's about $1,500.
And I've seen people going $2,000 or $2,500.
I just raised one recently to $5,000.
Yeah,
because the house, to me, the house looked like it was in great shape.
Yeah,
we knew there were going to be multiple offers on the house. So by raising the inspection contingency, it makes our deal look a little bit more favorable to the seller.
Yeah.
Now, the way I tell my buyer how to get you're kind of putting your butt out could hang out to dry.
Yeah.
You still got to do the home inspection. But by raising contingency, you're taking on more of the responsibility.
And that's
of
where the home
potential
inspection is even more important.
Yes. When you raise the contingency, because some people are waiving contingency inspections, and that's a bad idea.
Yep.
That is a bad idea because if you waive the inspection completely, let's say you buy a home warranty through a third party, which will protect you. You pay a deductible, and they take care of the rest. It's like an insurance policy against repairs, which is not a bad idea in this kind of competitive market. Right. But that falls onto the buyer, though that responsibility falls onto the buyer. And the more, I don't know if you know what a roof costs, but on let's say a 1,500, 1,700 square foot home, you're talking $12,000 to $15,000. Okay,
if they don't find any problems when they take the shingles off.
Right.
Yeah,
that's just basic. A furnace, Joe. That's easily $6,000 to $8,000 easily. So the repairs.
I just paid $9,000 for mine.
Oh, $9,000
for a brand new one.
Okay,
$9,000.
So the repairs of a home can be. It could hurt.
Yeah. And there are some people that are selling their houses now, and they'll tell you right out, I'm selling this house as is.
Right.
I'm not fixing anything.
Right.
That's when a home inspection is very important.
Exactly.
Because it's even more important.
Exactly.
Because now they're telling you there's probably things wrong with this house. I'm not fixing it. I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
You need to know what you're going to spend.
Yeah,
right.
Because you're already making one of the biggest.
And there's no reason to walk away from a house like that as long as you know the terms, and then you can say, okay, we've offered $300,000, but we found 3 issues that are going to cost $30,000 to fix, and we'll take on some of that, but we can't take on all that,
right?
And then it becomes a negotiation, and I almost like those kind of deals because it puts us. At least we can negotiate it now.
Right.
When you're in a multiple offer situation and you say, "Hey, we're going to offer much less than the asking price." Now you're out of the game. You're not even in the game now. And when a seller has a buyer in front of him that they've already agreed on a price, now it's they don't want to lose that. They don't want to start all over again.
Right.
So you're in a better position to negotiate if you're in the game. At least you're in the game.
Yep.
And if that inspection falls that badly, you can always get out. You can get out.
Yep.
So it's. But I'm really glad we're talking about this today because it happens to me. These things happen every single day.
Yeah.
When you're working with buyers, whether it's mold, radon, septic, structural issues. They come up every deal, and you have to kind of educate the buyers to say, okay, it's not if we're going to find an issue, it's how many we're going to find and how big are they.
I can't remember the last time I was in a house that didn't have some sort of mold. Mold is the nasty M word that nobody wants to hear.
Right.
And they think just because their mold is in the basement, it's worse than it. It's just. You're going to have mold in your house. You just got to figure out, is it easy to take care of? Who's going to pay for it? Is it going to have to be professionally remediated? But, it's not as big a deal as everybody thinks it is.
It can get really expensive.
Sure.
And that's why a pre-inspection, getting your house inspected before you put it on the market is really important. And touch on that quickly because we're running out of time, believe it or not.
If you have mold in your house and you have somebody come in and do a pre-listing inspection, you can get that mold. Maybe you can get it remediated for $3,000 or $4,000. Somebody can you can have somebody come in and do it at their leisure. You're not under a time constraint. Whereas when you're going to sell your house and somebody finds mold, okay, now you've got to get rid of it. You've got to get rid of it fast.
You want to be on the other side of that negotiation.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be spending $10,000 when you know it's a $5,000 fix.
Hey, we're running out of time really quickly here. I want to thank Joe Putrock for coming in today from Icon Home Inspection. This half hour has flown by.
It always does.
And because this is an issue that every home buyer and seller needs to know more about is home inspections.
And it's nothing to be scared of.
No, and that's why we're here at the Property Shop and Icon Home Inspections to help people get to weed through the weeds here and getting their house either sold or purchased with the least amount of stress.
That's it.
So it's great being here with you today, Joe. And we had two Joes here today. Usually we have two Johns, but I think two Joes is better.
It's the Joe and Joe show. Yeah. Well, guys, you can wrap things up right after this. All right.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Hi, I'm Matt Moore from Moore Insurance Services in Clifton Park. Let me take the stress out of quoting your home and auto insurance. We represent over 10 companies, which allows us to find the best coverage at the best prices. We've been helping families in the Capital District save money on their insurance for over 10 years. You can count on a quick turnaround as well as great communication every time. Give me a call at 518-280-1452 or go online to moreinsurancesvc.com and experience the difference. That's moreinsurancesvc.com.
Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at SalernoLawNY.com.
Hi, I'm Matt Moore from Moore Insurance Services in Clifton Park. Let me take the stress out of quoting your home and auto insurance. We represent over 10 companies, which allows us to find the best coverage at the best prices. We've been helping families in the Capital District save money on their insurance for over 10 years. You can count on a quick turnaround as well as great communication every time. Give me a call at 518-280-1452 or go online to moreinsurancesvc.com and experience the difference. That's moreinsurancesvc.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Hey, everybody. We are wrapping up the show for today. We've had Joe Putrock from Icon Home Inspections as a guest. And I just want to say a few things. So if you're looking to either trade up or trade down in a house or looking for the right investments, looking to get that instant cash offer on your home at the right price and the right time frame, you need to reach out to us at 518-957-SOLD. That's 518-957-7653 and ask us about our VIP home hunter service and about our investor newsletter called House, where we're offering strategies on how to invest real estate, featured investment properties, as well as the dates for investor seminars, as well as education of our clients and how to be successful in real estate. Or if you're on your way from buying or selling and you want to get a monthly update on market conditions, available homes, give us a call and sign up for our monthly Capital Region Market Watch newsletter and stay in touch with today's real estate market. I want to thank Joe Putrock from Icon Home Inspections for coming today. Johnny B will be back next week with Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio news and talk on Magic 100.5. And I'm Joe Mulone. Thank you for listening today and see you next week. And
you know what? You got about 40 seconds to fill.
Okay, that's no problem at all, because I want to thank John Gabriel for being a good coach for me. I've been doing the show for a little over a year now, and when I first got asked to be a guest on the show, I had to change my underwear because I was so nervous and scared about even being a guest. And now here I am a little over a year later as the host, and I've done it a couple of times now. And I just want to thank John for helping me out. And
you're very welcome, man. And you're doing a great job. You know, the good thing about radio is nobody can see you.
That's true. I've been told I have a face for radio.
Yeah, me too. So there you go.
And I wanted to thank Joe for coming on today on short notice.
Thanks for having me.
It's always a good thing when you got people you can count on. So you guys, everybody in the Capital Region, thanks for listening. See you next week.
See you guys.
The Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show is presented by Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, the property shop. Join broker and founder John Bevilacqua every Saturday morning at 8:30 to hear about the latest real estate trends here in the capital region, where to find the best mortgage rates, home insurance, home warranties, and more. To speak to John about buying or selling your home, call now to schedule an appointment. 518-957-SOLD. That's 518-957-7653. Or go to JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com. That's JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com.